Hello, my name is Richard Hardiman and welcome to the Vitruvian Man. I'm going to talk today about Vitruvian armour and what my concept here is. To help explain the concept of Vitruvian armour, it may help us to quickly nip down history lane and understand what the Vitruvian Man is or was and what is its significance to us. We often see it in popular culture. Here it is, Da Vinci's image of a man with 4 arms and legs outstretched in a geometric circle and square, often accompanied by Da Vinci's very own mirror writing surrounding it. But what is it? La proporzione del corpo umano secondo Vitruvio, better known as Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. It's the basis of what the perfect human proportion should look like. Taking into account the work of the ancient Roman architect Vitruvius, that's where we get the name from, and Da Vinci's own substantial research into the human body and anatomy, the canon of proportions exemplifies what the proportions of the human body should measure in relationship to its other parts. Taking it further, Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man attempted to marry the human body to nature and beyond that into the universe itself. Now that to me is where things get interesting, the perfect man in his place in the perfect universe, but we'll come back to that shortly. From it, though, we can gather some very real and true proportions of the human body and our ability to predict the length or width of various parts of our anatomy and what they should measure. For instance, by spreading our arms apart to the widest point and taking a measurement, that figure should roughly equal our height. Another way of finding out our height is to measure our foot, and then roughly times it by 7 to get our height again. Also, to find out what your height should be, you could measure your elbow to your armpit and multiply that by 8. The list is almost endless in calculations that can be done and proven to be correct, give or take a little bit of nature. That give or take, of course, comes from the fact that, of course, there is no such thing as the perfect man, neither physically nor mentally. I'm very sorry about that, ladies. The Vitruvian Man, of course, is based on something that doesn't actually exist. It's an assumption of the perfect man and his place in the universe. So what about the real us, then? The non-perfect, coffee-drinking, creative, loving and selfish, sentient beings that live one life in our heads and the other life in the real world for everyone else. What are we supposed to do? How do we measure ourselves? This is what I refer to as our Vitruvian armour. Armour built on what the world expects us to be, how we believe the world expects us to act, thrown in with a little bit of how we would like the world to actually see us. Add a little religious guilt, some screwed up childhood experiences, and a healthy dose of, I'm the only one feeling like this, I really must keep it all together, and we have our Vitruvian armour, our protection against the world's perceptions of us. A shield, then, made of quick wit and defensiveness if someone accuses us of something, a sword of false pride and bravery that allows us to lead and pretend that we're not scared, a solid armor-plated suit to protect us in case we make a mess of things and need to protect our fragile egos. Our armor then is made up of a myriad of things that have been clamped onto us in the building of our imaginary selves. Defenses built up from bad relationships, bullying, fear of failure, fear of opposite sex, fear of authority, fear of embarrassment. Like Da Vinci's measurements, the list is quite endless. With men, we have built up a spectacular suit. Society allows women to be vulnerable. It's almost expected, in need of protection, allowed to cry. But of course men are afforded none of these courtesies. Men should be brave and fearless and free from the shackles of the ability to cry. Those who fail are seen as wimps, weak, given nicknames, bullied or cast aside and chosen last for a sports team. I am of course being a bit obvious here. There are more subtle and far more damaging incidents in our lives that help us shape up these defenses. But my point is here, all of these, whatever they are, whoever we are, make our armour stronger, more weighty and more impenetrable. What happens when we weigh ourselves down with these armaments? We apply energy to all the wrong areas of our lives. We pour energy into the upkeep of our outer shells and forsake the real us for the one that we think people want to see, the one that we believe society wants to meet. And that, my friends, is Vitruvian armour. The perceived lacking in our real selves filled in and covered up with mental armour so that we may achieve perfection. But of course there is no such thing.